This is the CBS Evening News. Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. The communist world woke up with a painful hangover today after East Germany's unhappy 40th birthday over the weekend, and that was only one part of the turmoil in the Soviet bloc. The whole face of communism is changing so much faster than Mikhail Gorbachev or any of the rest of us ever imagined, and in some places it may actually be crumbling. The major datelines tonight are the Soviet Union itself, particularly Latvia and Azerbaijan, East Germany, and Hungary. In East Germany, a mass movement for freedom and democracy seems to be gaining momentum, even in the face of a vicious police crackdown. A huge crowd marched tonight in Leipzig, demanding reform of the hardline, old-line communist system. In Hungary today, the leaders of a suddenly transformed communist party adopted a platform calling for a multi-party democracy and a free enterprise economic system. Inside the Soviet Union itself, Gorbachev is facing new acts of defiance from the Baltic states and the Caucasus. Tom Fenton in Berlin begins our coverage of the changing face of communism.
More clashes between police and demonstrators are reported in East Germany tonight as the battle lines are drawn between demonstrators seeking peaceful reform and a regime determined to crush dissent. An extraordinary protest movement is sweeping across East Germany. Freedom is the cry of the new movement. The protest leaders are urging non-violence. They have adopted the tactics used in the 60s by the American Civil Rights Movement. Their aims are reforms and greater democracy within the socialist system. Illegal political groups have sprung up across the country to support those aims. The government is responding with brute force. The People's Army, the infamous Stasi secret police, and regular police are trying to crush the movement. Demonstrators have been beaten and hundreds arrested. It's the most serious challenge to the hardline communist regime since hundreds of thousands of workers took to the streets in 1953. Soviet troops and tanks crushed that brief revolt. In a reversal of the Soviet role, it was the visit of President Gorbachev that helped touch off this new explosion. After his weekend meeting with East German leader Erich Honecker, Gorbachev told Soviet TV many East Germans strongly support his reforms. But East German television tonight showed Honecker meeting a Chinese delegation and said China stands firmly with the East German Communist Party. Government propaganda described the protests as the work of hoodlums inspired by the Western media.
Information from East Germany is fragmentary tonight. Most of the reports come from the churches where the protest movement was launched, but there are reports that up to 50,000 demonstrators are facing police and the army in Leipzig. That's the biggest confrontation so far. Dan?
Tom, keeping in mind that the Chinese crackdown came after Gorbachev left China, what are the chances that the East Germans can now silence the reformers?
I think initially they'll be able to do so, but in the long run it's going to be very difficult. This is a movement that seems to have a momentum all its own.
Tom Fenton in Berlin, thanks. Hungarian leaders changed the name of their party from communist to socialist over the weekend. Today they re-elected the head of the old Communist Party to lead the new Socialist Party. Anthony Mason is in Budapest.
For decades, Hungary's place in the communist world has been marked by the floral red star at the foot of Budapest's chain bridge. It was still there 10 days ago, then suddenly, with a little bit of political gardening, it was gone. Hungary's Communist Party is trying to perform the same trick. During its historic Congress that ended today, the party scrubbed its old name, its old ideology, and declared itself shiny, new, and non-communist. The hardliners grumbled, but the party has agreed to hold free elections by next June. Metamorphosis may be its only hope of survival. The omens for the party are gloomy. Already this year, interim elections have been held for 4 parliamentary seats. The communists have lost every one.
I don't think that it really matters how the party looks, how the party behaves. A crushing defeat of the Communist Party is absolutely unavoidable.
Given the chance to drive a nail in communism's coffin, Hungarians have grabbed the hammer with gusto. But fears linger. Their last battle for democracy ended with the arrival of Soviet tanks. There are still thousands of Soviet troops here, though most Hungarians only brush with them on their shopping binges in Budapest. And Western observers are convinced the Kremlin wants the reforms to succeed.
Mr. Gorbachev needs something that he can point to say, if we go this route, it will work.
On the streets, the old symbols are harder and harder to find. When this scaffolding went up recently, the statue of Lenin disappeared from its pedestal. Mr. Lenin's new home is the backyard of a Budapest statue factory. The party first said he was in for repairs, but now admits his career is over. The workers don't know what to do with him and don't really care. In Hungary these days, the old heroes are on their backs, and the Communist Party is on its knees. Anthony Mason, CBS News, Budapest.
Inside the Soviet Union, a nationalist movement in Latvia voted not just to dump communism, but to pull out of the Soviet Union altogether and to restore an independent Latvia linked with the other Baltic states of Estonia and Lithuania. This is the most radical proposal to be advanced by any of the three republics. In the south, the Muslim Azerbaijanis are defying an order from Moscow and continuing to block or sabotage rail shipments to their ethnic and religious foes in neighboring Armenia. The TASS news agency says airlifts are the only thing preventing mass starvation in the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh. Well, the leader of last week's try at overthrowing and capturing Manuel Noriega was buried today in Panama. A Noriega spokesman said the major was, quote, killed in combat. Other reports say he was tortured and executed. James Hattori is our man in Panama City.
A funeral today for the man who led last week's attempted coup in Panama, Major Moises Giraldi. Many believe Panamanian General Manuel Noriega ordered the major's death. Just last year, Giraldi helped Noriega survive a previous coup attempt. A government-controlled newspaper says 10 people died during the rebellion here at Noriega's headquarters, but sources say many others who sympathized with the rebels have been purged.
A significant number of members of the institution have been killed, wounded, and detained in numbers and circumstances which are very doubtful.
Pictures obtained by CBS News show the coup unfolding in downtown Panama City. Rebel soldiers, including members of Noriega's riot police, secure the area. With the headquarters compound already in rebel hands, Noriega is allowed to walk around and confronts his captors. Back on the streets, a rebel sympathizer appears and reads a communique from the rebels demanding new elections and other freedoms. But suddenly he leaves. Then the arrival of loyal troops. One of the best equipped battalions in Panama confronts the rebels. The pictures show how close U.S. troops were to the fighting. U.S. helicopter gunships buzzed the downtown area. Southern Command soldiers took positions on U.S. property a half-mile away, and from a hillside they tried to keep tabs as some of the rebels who spared Noriega's life eventually lost their own. On the city's outskirts today, cemetery workers bury Major Giraldi. It's the 5th military burial since the attempted coup. No one knows how many more burials there will be. James Hattori, CBS News, Panama City.
Still to come on the CBS Evening News, Phil Jones on the few cops who turned traitor in the drug war. And the Cubs lose, so David Dow will have a report on the new Subway Series, Baseball by the Bay.
Hold out your finger, please.
In the last year or so, millions of people have decided to have their cholesterol checked. Many of them have also started eating healthier, including foods like Kellogg's Common Sense Oat Bran, with more oat bran than any leading ready-to-eat cereal. If you haven't tried either one of these things, we'd like to recommend them. There's at least one you'll really enjoy. Kellogg's Common Sense Oat Bran. To millions of people, it's the oat bran that makes sense.
When the time strikes for a little late-night snack, reach for the fresh taste of Sunsweet pitted prunes. Delightfully sweet way to say good night. Only one prune tastes Sunsweet.
Let's party! You, me, Ernie, and 1 million dishes.
You know I love our little chats over a nice hot sink of big ivory bubbles. Look at this dish. You know what this is, Ernie? This is clean. Rough. My hands? Yeah, they were a wreck. But that was weeks ago, before your Aunt Claire brought me Ivory Liquid. Now my hands feel soft, like Annie's. Yes, Annie, I'm stunned myself. Is this country great or what?
Ivory Liquid, where clean and soft go hand in hand.
Got a flat tire. Now my stomach's on fire. My day. And my Lanta, too.
Introducing My Lanta 2 roll packs for double strength antacid relief wherever you are.
Because my life takes my Lanta, too.
The San Francisco Giants beat the Chicago Cubs late today 3-2. That win at Candlestick Park to win the National League pennant in 5 games. For the Cubs, the 44th season in a row without a World Series. For the Giants, a 10-mile road trip now to open the first battle for the Bay. David Dow has more about the series.
A drive to right in the corner.
They cheered the Giants in San Francisco today as they clinched the National League pennant. And yesterday they roared in Oakland as the A's won a second straight American League title. But in both cities they are celebrating the unprecedented. Both teams in the same World Series, a battle for the Bay.
Best thing that could happen. Best thing for anybody in the Bay Area.
We are really the America's best.
It's going to be a fantastic series for everybody. I'm just really thrilled.
I was just offered $300. I wouldn't sell these for $1,000. I've waited so long. This is something you tell your kids about.
World Series fever. At last, something to unite two cities that seem to share only a famous bridge and a subway system. San Francisco, city of picturesque cable cars, elegant hotels, and a disdain for that other city.
San Francisco's the city. In Oakland, they call it the city. This is the city.
Across the bay, Oakland, a blue-collar port city with an identity crisis and pride.
When you think of San Francisco, what do you think of?
Crowds.
Arrogance.
Like thousands of their fans, both teams are transplants from other cities. If anyone has bragging rights in baseball terms, it is Oakland, which has won 5 American League championships since moving west from Kansas City in 1968. San Francisco's last National League pennant was 27 years ago, in the era of Willie Mays, now a 58-year-old spectator. Theirs is the kind of rivalry that now threatens to divide families.
My wife's an A's fan, and I'm a Giants fan, and we've been going at it all week.
Today, there were more than 62,000 in San Francisco's Candlestick Park and millions more around television sets when the Giants created history. A Bay Bridge series, baseball madness by the Bay. David Dow, CBS News, San Francisco.
After spending the weekend at Camp David, President Bush returned to the White House this afternoon. Before his return, the president was told that tests had determined the cyst removed from his finger Friday was not cancerous.
There's a motor oil that advertises world-class protection. Impressive. But Valvoline is recommended by name in the owner's manuals of these world-class cars. The other motor oil is not. Whatever you drive, Valvoline makes the highest quality motor oil recommended by any car manufacturer. Around the world, people who know use Valvoline.
I just did something incredible. 5 minutes ago, I had gray hair, but now I don't. And this is what did it. New Option Instant from Clairol. The advanced way to get rid of the gray. New Option Instant for men is different. There's no messy mixing. It's so easy. Just press, apply, and only 5 minutes later, your natural-looking color's back. Hair even feels thicker. So why look like this?
When you can look like this.
New Option Instant from Clairol. The advanced way to get rid of the gray.
With arthritis, there's pain. And then there's pain. For relief, there's aspirin. And then there's Anacin. The Anacin aspirin formula has more medicine than regular aspirin.
That's not relief. That's relief.
Anacin.
Good morning.
Good news. Medical experts agree today's X-Lax helps restore natural fluid balance to get you back to natural regularity. And that's a good morning for you. Today's X-Lax, the sure way back to natural regularity.
In the nation's fight against drugs, there are many casualties, not all of them drug users. There are casualties on the other side of the fight as well. Those few law enforcement officers who fall prey to the tremendous sums of drug money out there. Correspondent Phil Jones has been investigating this situation, and tonight he has a report on the police corrupted by the drug trade.
These are cops caught in the web of drugs and drug money. More and more of the men behind the badge accused of going bad. Lawmen charged with becoming the enemy in the war against drugs. A U.S. Border Patrolman in Arizona. A drug enforcement agent in Boston. The Buddy Boys in New York. Five Squad in Philadelphia. Sheriff's deputies in Los Angeles County.
I deeply regret that I have to tell you that corruption has apparently touched members of my department and caused great embarrassment to all of us who wear a badge.
There are the River Cops in Miami, one of whom, Armando Garcia, made his way from patrolling the streets to the FBI's 10 most wanted list. But it's not just big city cops who go bad. Drug-related corruption has also hit smaller police departments, like here in Lakeland, Florida.
He was, I felt, a good officer. He was a role model in the community.
33-year-old Willie Brown had been a narcotics detective for almost 3 years. The chief nominated him for a Policeman of the Year award. Then recently, the FBI nailed Brown for selling crack.
We feel that he got it when he shook down drug suspects on the street. And then it appears that he sold it to individuals that were willing to buy cocaine.
The enormous flow of drugs into the nation and the staggering piles of money are more than some cops can cope with.
A lot of them are working 2, 3 extra jobs to try to make ends meet with their families. A lot of them are put in a position to where that appears no other way out, and this may lead them into the corruption.
But it's more than low salaries causing the corruption. In many instances, there is inadequate screening to detect officers with personal drug problems. Some departments that do screen have found more than 60% of the recruits have used drugs. The corruption is occurring with the street-level cops.
These are the individuals that are actually confronted on a daily basis with the activities on the street, where the drugs are actually seized, where they're transported to a particular holding facility, and this is where the temptation actually comes in.
Most cops don't go bad, but officials are taking no chances. Washington, D.C. Police Chief Isaac Fullwood has gone to the precincts to warn his troops that their reputations and jobs are on the line.
Because I believe that we have to be drug-free. We have to be able to say that. We have to say that because the community will lose its confidence if we're not clearly above reproach.
I don't think you can ever completely stop it. If an officer wants to go bad, there's always the opportunity they can do it.
And police officials worry that with stacks of cash and dope, even normally good cops will be unable to just say no. Phil Jones, CBS News, Washington.
2 American scientists won the Nobel Prize for Medicine today. Harold Varmus and J. Michael Bishop were honored for their discoveries on the origin of cancer genes. Doctors Varmus and Bishop are colleagues at the University of California School of Medicine in San Francisco. They will share a cash prize of $469,000.
I didn't know they made anything like this. You know, my dry skin felt better right away. I mean, I didn't have to keep loading this stuff on, loading it on. It really felt different. It has a unique delivery system with time-release microencapsulates. It feels like you've got new skin. It's soft. It looks and feels younger. It's comfortable.
Introducing new Oil of Olay Intensive Moisture Complex.
What matters is that it works on my skin, but I still like to know what a microencapsulate is.
Bob and Susan like their privacy. When they asked me to sell their home, they were concerned about lots of strangers trooping through it. They said, please make sure you only bring over qualified buyers. Well, that's the least an agent should do. I told them, better yet, I've got a way that lets me know they'll like the house. You see, our Real Scope photos let buyers get a good look at the house, inside and out, right in my office. Their house was sold in no time.
The right agent makes all the difference in the world. Realty World.
Want to get wholesome and hearty instantly? Eat Nabisco Wholesome and Hearty Oat Bran Hot Cereal in apple cinnamon honey or regular. Instantly. The only instant hot oat brand. Delicious. Get Nabisco Wholesome and Hearty Oat Bran.
Instantly.
This is new Hellman's cholesterol free.
Will I like it?
It has 0% cholesterol.
Will I like it?
It tastes 100% Hellman's.
I like it.
I knew you'd like it.
I knew I'd like it.
New Hellman's cholesterol free with half the fat. Bring out the best.
Today marks the start of Higher Education Week in Kentucky. Frank Courier reports tonight on why Kentucky is pushing so hard to get more people to get more schooling and why so many school dropouts are so eagerly dropping back in.
In Clay County, Kentucky, the heart of Appalachia, 8 out of 10 adults are without a high school diploma. In a state that ranks dead last in the nation for graduates, nearly half Kentucky's adult population never finished or never started high school.
I do cashier, but I'm not really happy. I feel like I could do more. I had no education. I had very little skills. I knew little of nothing. So I decided to go back. Without a high school diploma, you can't get too far.
Julia Bell is 32. She quit high school 15 years ago to get married. But today, Bell is among a growing legion of dropouts who are now adults returning to school. She wants to join the Army, which insists on a high school diploma.
I'm interested in seeing what the rest of the world looks like besides Covington, Kentucky.
There's probably just one common denominator of all the students that's come back, and that's that they have quit.
In cities like Covington and Louisville, often the last stop in a migration route north for the undereducated poor from Appalachia, educators have opened schools for adults only, with the same academics required of teenagers.
In the 90s, if you don't have a high school diploma, and 2 years above the high school diploma, you're not going to be really literate for the workforce.
The older the student, the more success we'll have with them, because they have come back again after being out on the streets.
At Kentucky's adult high schools, students often are desperate to improve themselves. Janice Hodge is 43, a motel housekeeper who quit school after the 8th grade to help care for a big family.
My sisters, they went and got theirs, they finished theirs, so I figured I'd do it too. Better myself and get a better job.
Victor Rucker is 23, works long hours for a roofing company. Fast cars and girlfriends, he says, lured him out of school his senior year and into a series of dead-end jobs.
If they've seen the kind of work I did on a hot roof, pouring sweat, it's really not worth it. It's better to stay in and finish.
Rucker expects to earn his diploma in January, then go to college to learn electronics. He'll join an estimated 1,000 graduates who have finished adult high school since it started here 3 years ago. New York and California have adopted similar programs, and at small cost, other states are following Kentucky's example. A first step toward reversing the cycle of lost hope and missed opportunities for millions of dropouts in need of a second chance. Frank Courier, CBS News, Covington, Kentucky.
Representatives from more than 200 environmental groups called today for preserving Antarctica as a wilderness for all time. Their plea came as 39 nations gathered in Paris to review the 1959 Antarctic Treaty, which forbids exploitation of the area. The environmentalists would like to create the first world park in Antarctica. A new heavyweight champion was named today in the world of pumpkins. At the annual World Weigh-Off in Collins, New York, a pumpkin weighing 755 pounds took the honors, worth $3,000 in prize money. The winning grower, appropriately enough on this Canadian Thanksgiving Day, comes from Quebec.
To my beautiful wife.
It's nice to know he still loves the way you look. And if you wear dentures, you can count on Effordent to freshen up dentures and clean away stains so well. With Effordent, all he'll notice is you.
When you've got hemorrhoids, walking is hard. Sitting, worse. Anusol has an anesthetic for the pain and itch of hemorrhoids. Prep H doesn't. Anusol has an anesthetic to take the hurt out of hemorrhoids.
I was gulping a hot dog when my little superstar made an unbelievable goal. I gave that ref a piece of my mind, but it went to my stomach. It was a Maalox moment. I took Extra Strength Malox Plus, strongest antacid there is. My doctor recommended it. I need the strongest with my husband, the ref.
Nobody's perfect.
Write us about your Malox moments. Extra Strength Malox Plus, strong relief for all your Malox moments.
Having the flu is a nightmare. Your throat's so sore. You're congested. You cough. Body aches all over. But now, there's Theraflu, the first and only hot medicine made just for flu symptoms. Theraflu, with a hot liquid like doctors recommend. Strong therapy for fever and cough. Strong therapy for aches and pains. Next time the flu strikes you, strike back with Theraflu.
Under the heading of Lest We Forget, the passing of time is not deadening the hurt inflicted on South Carolina by Hurricane Hugo 18 days ago, nor criticisms of the slowness and bureaucratic nature of state and federal efforts at relief. Buildings are being put back together, but thousands of lives are in ruins, and more danger lurks ahead. Aaron Hayes is still in Charleston.
In places, South Carolina appears on the road to recovery. The Charleston Symphony was back, no roof over it, but a performance all the same. There are reasons for rejoicing. The obvious damage from Hurricane Hugo is being repaired, cleaned up. There is, however, a damage that is less visible but longer lasting. Hurricane Hugo wiped out jobs here, an estimated 212,000 overnight. That's putting people into relief lines who were never here before.
There are a lot of us in the same boat. If I was the only one that was in this unique situation, I might be too embarrassed to do this.
Ernie and Sonia Droz spent the morning at the Federal Emergency Management Office trying to get a loan.
No trees to the roof, so it's just strictly flood.
She lost her small Christmas ornament business when Hugo damaged the city market. Then floods washed out her workroom.
What can you do? You try to do the best we can.
The family really needs her income now. There's no insurance on the contents of their house. The appliances are ruined. The furniture is mildewing.
We've accomplished a lot in 30 years, but now it seems like it's pretty well all gone.
He's a fireman, used to tough situations, but this one is beyond him.
It's just hard to say. I just feel like, I ought not say it, but I feel like giving up. And it's getting closer to that right now.
The Drozes have plenty of company. Hurricane Hugo nearly quadrupled South Carolina's unemployment rate.
Probably before they get all these job sites back into operation, you're talking about hundreds, probably $700 to $800 million of lost wages.
Some worry the rest of the country is already forgetting what South Carolina still faces.
I think they're going to forget it real quickly because they're not going to see it like we do every day.
It may not be over yet. A record high tide is expected here in days. Hugo wiped out much of the beach. Flooding could be bad again. State workers are furiously building dunes to ward off delayed damage from the most devastating hurricane anyone here can remember. Aaron Hayes, CBS News, Charleston, South Carolina.
And that's part of our world tonight. Dan Rather for the CBS Evening News. See you tomorrow. Good night.
I'm Harry Smith.
And I'm Kathleen Sullivan. Tomorrow, Florida's special session on abortion.
Also, fighting campus crime and country music's best on CBS This Morning.
This is CBS.